This is a short video about online communities, what they are and how they differ from other social networking sites. So online communities are also part of what we refer to as online social networks, but they differ a bit from social networking sites. So a social networking site is like an online representation of something that exists offline. So for example, the street I live on during COVID lockdowns started their own Facebook group. So that became like a neighborhood representation of pre-existing relationships, although we were just neighbors. But often, that will be classmates or friends and so forth. And the primary reason is for maintaining relationships and also establishing new ones. Now, an online community, on the other hand, is quite different because these are groups of people that come together for a very specific purpose, and that's guided by the policies of that online community. And of course supported by access to the internet. So I put an example up on the slide here from the Aussie home brewer, just because it's a rather crude, old-fashioned bulletin board type of online community. It's still going, still active, but it looks like probably hasn't been updated since the early 2000s. So you can have a look at that if you want. But the key difference here is that it's in an online community, people are coming together for a specific purpose based on a specific shared purpose, not because of pre-existing relationships. So online communities can often exist within social networking sites. I think LinkedIn is actually a good example of that. I mean, we have our own LinkedIn group for this class, for example. But for those of you that wants to do the assignment 1, building a brand for yourself, joining an online community of like-minded people may be a really good idea, both to boost your brand as such, but also to meet potential mentors and things like that. So joining groups with professionals within the industry that you would seek employment in could be a really good idea. And when you have that sort of so pre-existing relationships, obviously is not essential for an online community. So joining it is then a good idea because you choose who you want to identify with, and you're joining this community, and you're held together by those common interests, either with people that are already working in a profession or you that wants to then join that profession. So it's a really good segue into your future employment and job seeking behavior and as such. So there's quite often an overlap of communities. People belong to different communities and they overlap. So you may have one thing in common with some of your friends, but not with some of your other friends, such like the illustration on my slide here shows. So reflecting back to the Kaplan and Heinlein 10 pieces of advice paper as well, where they talk about, join an existing platform or make your own. Building your own online community may also be an option for some of you to consider in your assignment 1. So in an online community, leaders quite often emerge from their reputation amongst community members, and I think TripAdvisor is a good example of that as an online community. So those that are leaders within that community would be those that have written loads of reviews, and perhaps not just only written loads of reviews, but written loads of reviews on different travel-related things from a whole range of different countries, which shows that they are well-traveled and so forth. And then they will then be perceived as a more trustworthy and a leader within that community. So power is decentralized, and the majority rules in such communities. So it's what Tim Berners-Lee was really thinking of when he invented the internet as a truly democratic space. So here's a couple of examples of online communities that you can have a look at. I did mention TripAdvisor, and then there's the Duolingo community, Duolingo being the app where you can learn new languages, and there's a community page for people interested in that as well. I also added the Mom 365 because with big lifestyle changes, such as becoming a parent for the first time, many people do seek out online communities to meet new friends and get support and meet others that is going through the same life-changing events as they do. So if that's something that would at all relate to your assignment 1, people going through lifestyle or life changes, then establishing an online community may be a way to go forward. Otherwise, if you're doing option 2 for assignment 1, then joining an online community could be a good idea and a path to an implementation in itself. So I'm gonna leave you with that, and I'll see you in another movie.